Esotericist Faction Trials Stage 15, the new hardest Faction Trial stage in the game. Let me take you through it with the most free-to-play friendly budget comp I could come up with. That being said, it can only be so free-to-play friendly or budget. I mean, you gotta use some good legendary heroes because there's very limited epics in this faction. So I don't think there's enough DPS period to beat this stage with epics only, even if you had every perfect piece of gear in the world. But even worse than the DPS, there's only one epic healer in the entire faction. And you definitely, from all my testing, you definitely need at least 2 healers. So that is what we are going to bring here. But you can see, yeah, I've got my A5 Boreas, I've got my A4 Comet. That was unavoidable. I just need to bring some AoE, and I have Awakenings in those guys. However, I have taken out as much of the real meaty stuff as I could to bring it down to the bare bones. So we're talking no Legendary Lord, just Raiden over here who will not be deployed. We're bringing only 2 healers, and I'm not bringing Elowyn, right? I'm not bringing Elowyn. That is a big deal because she makes the stage a lot easier. But I feel like if I made a guide and I used Elowyn, it wouldn't be fair to all the people that hate their life because they don't have Elowyn. So I'll tell you, in order, the best healers for this stage all around go Elowyn, then Ezrein, then Dasami, then Lily. In terms of pure healing, the best is Ezrein. Then I would say kind of a tie between Lily and Elowyn, and then Dasami. Elowyn is number 1 for the overall because she's bringing the rage. The Wood Elf is crazy. She can get you some cost. She's just perfect. And Dasami, actually, I was using on my first clearance for inspiration, but he wasn't needed, so I took him out. This is the comp we are going into this with. So you need 2 healers. We're going for Ezrein and Lily. Lily, the only epic, purely free-to-play option. And then you can see I've got 4 DPS. I've got 3 legendary heroes here in Lyra, Boreas, and Comet. And then I've got Ai over here. Ai is phenomenal for this stage. I highly recommend using her. If you want good DPS, she needs Awaken 5. But by the time you reach Esotericist Faction Trials Stage 15, you will have Awaken 5 all your epics. I'm quite sure of that, or nearly all of them. You should have an A5 Ai. That's what I'm trying to say. So we need 3 kind of AoE DPS. And then I don't think you necessarily 100% need a 4th, but if you have a good single target, I do think that's a great choice. And I do think Lyra is a phenomenal option. Other great options for that would be Seraphina. Kata can do some really cool stuff for this. And then for AoE, you could bring a melee unit. You could bring Ymeric if you want to bring an Unnameable and you're lucky to have him. Certainly you can bring Ajax. And then Honora is unbelievable for this stage. I wish I could have used her, but I didn't think it would make a good guide in case people weren't playing during her banner or they didn't go for her. So you can see this is what we're bringing in. For everything else, you know, we have those 4 legendaries I discussed. We have Ai, we have Lily, and then we've got our 2 like tanky guys. Yankar's only going to be there for a minute. He just allows us to do a little cycling trick. And then Ardith is like our main tank. It can be anyone. The stage is kind of buggy. It is not how the tooltips read. I'll go over that quickly before we enter the battle, but then I do quickly want to jump in. If you're curious about gearing, all my gear is very good. That's what it takes to beat this stage. Here's my Ai, for example. I'll show you all of that with artifacts at the end. But I just want to talk about tanks really quickly. If you have Cyrus, please use him. If you have Trusk, please use him. And then if you want to do some fun stuff, there's some cool tricks you can use. Definitely bring Helga. If you get a lot of stuns out on the boss, there's 2 phases to this fight. There's killing all the mobs, and then there's trying to kill the boss. For the trying to kill the boss part, and even before that, just for locking out the boss, stuns from Helga are amazing. They're super, super powerful. So definitely consider bringing her, but I figure not everyone has her, so I decided to leave her at home. You can do a similar thing locking out the boss with Nazim, but it's not as effective as with Helga, and I didn't need it for this clearance, so I chose not to bring it. You might also wonder about Curse. They clearly want you to use Curse based on reading the tooltips. However, that's really not how this plays out because there's like one really bugged thing in this. Well, there are several bugged things, but there's one very bugged thing. And because of that, you can kind of forego the whole call to curse that they put in front of you. So before we head in, let me take you into the tooltips to point out the funkiness really quickly. So here's the main thing I was just talking about. The Mystic Serpent's attacks, the boss's attacks, will focus on the last deployed unit. That is just not true, all right? They're focused on the last deployed unit so long as you haven't put a melee unit right in front of her. but we're going to do that, and that's what you should do. So put a Cyrus in front of her, put an Ardith like I will, put a Trusk, put a Yankar, and that's who she's going to focus on. I have found with this over here, Lethal Bind, you can see it says the Mystic Serpent, the boss, casts a spell at the last deployed hero. It deals damage, it prevents them from gaining any more rage, and it locks them out. This sometimes is the last deployed unit, but sometimes it's just the melee. I've seen it both ways. I've tested it. There's some real weird funkiness. The other thing I wanted to point out is the Serpent Hiss over here. This is a big AoE thing that happens whenever you ult. Sometimes this is happening, sometimes it isn't. It also says it inflicts 1 permanent stackable vulnerability. That's not true. It does inflict vulnerability, but it's not permanent. It's timed, and eventually it does fall off. There's a lot of other funky stuff, but I don't want to waste your time with that. Without further ado, let's head into the battle. I'll say a really cool thing about this battle is there's a lot of auto ult casters here, so you don't have to worry about them once they get placed. And then for the manual ults, there's not that many ults you have to use. So we'll start here, put one of your AoE DPS on the left, pointed left. They're going to handle these 2 portals. So I'm going Boreas there. I can do this job really well. I tested out Navros can do this job very well, so long as he has a legendary lord. He could do it with Raiden, but it was a lot harder. The gear I had on him was crazy. And then I'll say Raiden can do it, but he's the worst of the bunch. And it took crazy gear to get Raiden to do it. This is the only AoE spot I found Raiden to be capable. And it took crazy gear. We'll ult with Boreas, and we will only have to ult with him one more time with phase 1 of the battle. For phase 1, you cannot put direct damage on the boss. So you just focus on all these mobs. You can see you need 29 kills. You focus on the first 28. As soon as you get enough costs for your tank guy, place him. And now look, she starts attacking him. The more she attacks him without you putting curse on her, she's going to attack faster and faster. But he's your tank. He's going to be fine. What should happen is I'm going to go place Comet, and she should move over to Comet, but she won't. She's distracted by Ardith. The tooltip is wrong. The explanation is wrong, and she just keeps going at Ardith, right? Place Comet down here. Let him go to town. As soon as you can ult with Comet, you'll ult. And again, just like Brace, you'll only ult with Comet one more time for this whole phase. So there you go. Pick that off. As soon as you have enough cost, you can place I here pointed down. She's phenomenal. She's just so good. She's going to get her ice crystals out. If you have Awakenings, these things don't just crowd control. They hit like a truck. And then finally, we got Ezrein. And that's it. We only need these 6 units for the first phase of the battle. And I'm kind of hands-free. I don't do much. They're going to do it all themselves. We got auto ult heals from Ezrein and Lily. So it's like, oh no, that red flyer jerk corrupted Comet's tile. Ezrein's got him covered. Look how huge the heals from Ezrein are, by the way. Almost 33,000, or between 32,000 and 33,000. And then for all this other stuff, it doesn't matter too much either. Like here, you can ult with Boreas. Like, why not? But you don't need to. Like, I'll do it just to be safe, but take my word for it. If you've got a good enough build, he does his periodic big, huge range blasts. And then, of course, if anyone does get through, they'll hit this one crystal. This is like our contingency crystal from I. Very quickly, let me make myself a lot smaller so I'm not in everyone's way. Excuse me. All right, I'll put myself right here. Great. And now we just kind of let it cook. You see, I'm not deploying Lyra yet. We only need her for phase 2, so why bother placing her in phase 1? It's just another person that needs to be healed, another person that gets hurt and could die. Because once we beat this phase 1, the boss has a big AoE. He locks everyone out of their basic attacks, and everyone takes continuous damage over time. All right, guys, so if you look to the left here by me, this is the moment where you definitely want to ult with Boreas or whichever AoE you have in the top left. Because, yeah, we get the 2 of the big boys and 2 of the smaller but still really big boys. So you definitely want to ult there. That's the one moment in the entire fight that you need to ult with Boreas. And coming up down here in the bottom right is one of the 2 moments in the entire fight, or at least in the entire phase 1, I should say, the first half of the fight, that you need to ult with Comet. There's the first guy, at least I need to, and then this one right here. And as soon as you get that kill with Comet, you can pick him up, because we're not going to need him for the bottom right anymore. We're going to move him onto the boss with Lyra for the second phase. So now we wait here. I will say there can be some really annoying RNG here with I when she chooses to summon crystals. I find, let's call it 90% of the time, it works fine, but occasionally it's annoying and you have to restart. But that's living that I life, man. that world famous I life. But this looks like it's good. Yeah, one more crystal should do it. We'll throw it on 1x in a second. We want everyone as close to full health as possible when we get these last 2 kills. I'm not going to ult with Boreas here. Worst case, this guy hits the crystal. Very likely Boreas will do his little blast in a second. Let's see. No, it looks like he's going to hit the... No, there's the Blast from Reyes. Got the kill, and he hit the crystal. Okay, so she's going to start whacking away at Ardith. We're going to wait. As soon as she stops, that's when the big AoE's coming in. It says she's only going to do this once, but I've seen her do it at least twice every fight. If the fight goes on for too long, basically it's Mystic Guard. When all her monster guards are on the battlefield, she's immune to damage but can't do any active skills, so she just does those basics over and over on Ardith. But once they're eliminated, she leaves that. That starts phase 2, and she casts Toxic Venom one time. At least maybe it's just a translation issue. To me, it sounds like this is the one and only time she does it. She is going to do it, but if the fight goes on a little long, she does it a second time for sure. I would think if it goes on even longer, she'll do it a third time. Afterwards, you can start whacking away at her, and now the other monsters don't count as kills. They're just summons, but she's going to start bringing out other mobs. So Toxic Venom, you're going to see it's an AoE affecting everyone, and then it's going to make everyone, for a period of time, unable to do any basic attacks, and they're going to take a little bit of continuous damage. All right, let's get back into it. A final thing to note as we shift from phase 2 to phase 3, this whole Mystic Guard moment is happening. You know, previously the Mystic Serpent, she was immune to damage. Now she's going to be susceptible to damage. Previously she couldn't use active skills. Now she'll be able to. Previously it was all about the other monster guards and the enemies. Now there's some random ones she summons that don't matter. It's all about her. However, it takes her a moment to realize all her friends are dead, and it's time for phase 2 to begin. So she's just going to keep whacking away at your melee unit, in this case for us, Ardith, for a little period of time, like 5, maybe 10 seconds. We can take that moment to line some stuff up pretty well for us. So first things first, we're going to pick up I right away. She already has enough crystals out here that we can just take her up. So let's keep this on 1x. Let's pick her up. And then you'll see here, as soon as she's done with the basic attacks against Ardith here, she's going to go to the AoE. Now we can pick her up. Here comes the AoE. You can see we get shellacked. Now there's just one less unit for, well, actually we picked up Comet a while ago, so 2 less units for Ezrein to worry about. We only have our 3 guys on the field, so we can just be a little more focused. We're quickly going to do our placements. Your main DPS, so for us, Lyra goes on the blue lightning bolt there, pointed up. Then we got Comet. And now our new melee and last deployed is going to be Yankar. Unfortunately, there's a touch of RNG here. We tried to control that with our early eye pickup. By the time we need her again, potentially for more crystals, she'll be ready to go. But we don't know. You can see that the 3 guys that were already out, Ezrein, Lily, and Boreas, are all glowing red. They got hit by the Toxic Venom, so they're getting damage over time, and they're locked out of their basics. So once they exit that lockout, and then our healers can do their basic attack heals again, we don't know where they're going to heal first. One thing also, by removing the people from the field that we didn't need in that moment, it minimizes the options for these units to do their special passives. So Lily with her death save, and then Ezrein with his rejuvenation breath, or whatever it's called. So let's see what happens. Sometimes we don't survive it, so let's see. Can Lily save herself? She does. Looks like we're going to hold on. So here we go. Lyra's got 2 summons over her shoulder. That's the moment when you want to ult. She does more damage when she has the 2 summons, so really keep an eye out for that. You'll see Lyra's also... Well, first let me get the ult with Comet. Lyra is also going to have the minus 30% magic resistance. That's basically magic defense break, and it's really strong, so she's a good option for this. The only other thing you need to know about, besides maybe keeping an eye for when I needs to come back, an eye for eye, Hammurabi style, no pun intended, do not do an ult if someone's like about to die, because when we do have those moments where they do the big AoE from the Serpent Hiss, when it does actually go through and it hits kind of hard and we do get the vulnerability stacking, you don't want to do it in a moment when you are vulnerable. So just be sure not to trigger ults when someone's like really low health. But right now we're pretty good. We just want to whack away. There's a little bit of RNG too, and like when you want to ult with Lyra, will she have her do summons? Here comes the Lethal Mind. This is this little lockout that goes in the last deployed. Typically it goes just on the melee, but I did have a weird thing where it glitched with Comet, and then Comet just kind of froze, and his rage got stuck at 13 out of 20, and it was very strange. His countdown rage, he was already mid-ult. But when this comes, that hero permanently can't get rage. We don't care because we don't care about Yankar. If anything, it's to our benefit because we don't really want him ulting. So here it's going to come on him. You'll see. He just got hit. Now we're waiting for Lyra's ult. Here's another reason that Elowyn's better. The ults just come up faster, obviously. So getting ready. Right when I click it, I want to make sure we got 2 orbs. We do. Lyra certainly has 2 orbs. Let's get that there, down to half health. You can see some nice stuff, like all these residual things from I with her crystals, and she's ready to go again. She's getting the kills we need. Can ult with Boreas, everyone's full health, and now he's going to be able to, with his AoE blast, hit her there. Hopefully we get this kill. I's ulting, we should. We just need to pop one more crystal there. We got it. These ones, we got 4 crystals, so it's plenty. Waiting for I's ult again. She could come with another Toxic Venom. Good thing this is the second lethal bind. There will be another Toxic Venom coming, so we ideally would like to get the kill before then. 2 summons on Lyra's shoulders, so no bad RNG yet. Let's go with the blast. There it is. As soon as Comet's ready, we'll ult with him. Coming up here. Is she going to do the ult here, the big AoE? Looks like it. Can we get the kill just in time? I think we can. And perfect. Got it. No deaths. There you have it, guys. I'll be honest, this took me an eternity to film perfectly, so I hope you did appreciate it. I'm going to show you all the gear now. We'll quickly go over the stats as well, if anyone's curious where the DPS was coming from. You can see Lyra did a ton, because she's doing 11 million just at the boss at the end. Don't sleep on Seraphina, though, if you don't have Lyra. Really, really good single target option. And then for epics, I guess it would be Navros would be the option. And then we got our 2 big AoE boys, and then I's just doing really, really nice, really cool stuff. And that's literally it. There you have it. I will say a cool thing with the stage 15s now, actually 13, 14 and 15, you have a chance to get a random exclusive mythic piece of gear from that faction. I wish it would drop like once a week. I mean, this only opens once a week. So it's kind of a drag that it's random, and that's the second clearance I got. It didn't drop. But without further ado, let's head in. They won't let me into the battle because we're done with the temps for the day. Let me just show you the gearing oh so quickly, and then we can wrap this thing up. Let's go to our Esotericist and let's work our way down the line. Here's my Boreas. I'll click quickly. All my DPS are in Soulbound Arcana, except for Lyra, who we'll talk about specifically. But, you know, these 2 guys, and then wherever I's hiding out, it's really similar, right? They're all in Warlord and Soulbound Arcana. This is like borderline endgame content. It's hard. You need the right gear and the right sets. This is the meta. So you can see we're going for attack bonus. This is the best piece on my account. Not to brag, but to brag a little bit. Let's keep going. Just hunting for our nice stuff. Looking for a little tankiness as well. That'd be the key thing. So you can see HP bonus here. We picked some up. I think we had HP bonus here as well. You want everyone that's going to be on the floor at least when she does the Toxic Venom to have at least 20,000 HP. So I found like actually you need like 22 or 23. I heard from Pink Jesus, he was telling me when I was streaming earlier though, he found 20,000 works. I've had a lot of people die. I don't know, but you know, certainly 20,000 or higher, if not like 22, 23, 24. Maybe 24, slightly overkill. Let's go to Comet here. We can click on through. You'll see his HP is a little bit lower than Boreas. It's because he's not down for that moment, but I still got him up to like 22. Oh, by the way, for the artifacts, all of them, they're all wearing max tiered Twilights. That's what it took. But remember, we could have deployed a whole extra unit. We left a lot of guys at home. This is a lot easier if you bring Elowyn or a 3rd healer. Certainly if you bring Dasami for inspiration, then it's really easy to kill the boss at the end. So yeah, you can see, where is it? Let's find I. So 1, 2, 3, not to flex, but I guess a little bit to flex. So there you go. Let's keep going. Here's Ezrin. He is an Invigoration. This was placed on Comet. It doesn't matter because when you need Comet at the end, when you take him back pick him up from the battlefield and put him back on, you lose it. It helps him a little. He gets more heal effect, and he himself, it's him and the random ally, so he gets the 10% attack. But we just wanted a good chunk of tankiness, and we wanted him really fast. So you'll see that now. There's some attack speed. Looking for Rage Regen 2 when we could get it. Rage Regen not as important for this because there is like a downside to triggering too many ults. But you'll see 27k HP, nice attack, very fast, and really good Rage Regen. This is a good build. For the artifact, we want to max out Elysian Epitaph. Let's continue with Lyra. Lyra went Cataclysm just because I thought it would be good to get her ult up faster because I've had many times, this is in hindsight, but I had many times where the second Toxic Venom would come and it could have risked the run. So if you can beat the boss before the second Toxic Venom, that's great, like we just did in the nick of time there. You can see great substats here. I had to recast this a couple times just to get decent rolls, but the substats are perfect. This is my arrogance attack bonus thing. We didn't even run her full crit because I couldn't. It just sucks. This piece is great. I had to recast this as well from Ajax. Here's nice. I'm just mostly looking for some HP. In hindsight, because you ideally just want to make it before the second Toxic Venom, I probably could have run flat attack here. And then, yeah, nice little triple main DPS stuff there. And also, I will say my Lyra is not max skilled, unfortunately. You know, she's missing out on a lot of attack here, missing out on a lot of other stuff. So, yeah, could optimize this even more. Let's continue. Do we have any other legendaries? No, I think it was just those 4. So here's It's the same exact story as Boreas and Comet. I did go for 1 crit damage piece, but it's because I have a huge attack bonus roll and flat attack. Artifact was the same story. There are your total stats. If we can continue, Lily, it's a similar build to Ezreal. We're looking for attack, we're looking for HP, and we're looking for attack speed. If we can get heal effect and rage regen, that's great. This is a perfect piece for Invig, I will say. I'm quite happy with it. Some nice attack speed. This is less perfect, but we have the HP bonus. And this piece is, again, perfect, but bad rolls. So here's a nice constant piece. A piece like this never goes on constants, but it's great for another healer. So this worked out really well. We got attack speed on the breastplate, and here we got some more attack with some nice HP bonus, some heal effect, a little Leia exclusive. Obviously not getting those effects. She's in a Elysian Epitaph. And then finally, who else do I have to show you? Why am I blind? There's Ardith. Okay, so my Ardith, by the way, like the build, he's in good gear, but look, he's only promo 2. If you can see underneath me, nothing too crazy, 43,000 BP. He's in no ancient gear, just HP bonus, HP bonus, HP bonus with the Guardian Ring, looking for tank substats, and then some good Immortal Warrior. And then finally, it should just be Yankar. Here he is, same kind of story. He's got Astral Guardian, but we're just going for HP bonus with Guardian, and then boom. For the artifact, he's in a maxed out Lunacy Visor. And then I will say you do not run a Bastion Ring because at no point does it register that Ardith is blocking. So just do like a Goddess Grace, or maybe you could do a Tuning Crystal. If you wanted to run a legendary artifact, if I can find it, is this the one? Yeah, when you take damage, you get a little heal. Nightmare Serpent is fine. So yeah, there you go. I think those were all our units, guys. Thank you so much for watching. What a doozy this was to put together. Just with a couple hours in the nick of time. Hopefully this helps at least one person before reset. Let me know if that is you, or maybe it's going to help you in the future. Also, let me know if that is you. Thank you for watching. I've been Fastidious. Share with your mother, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.
Fastidious.